Yeah, the Trump administration is doing all kind of illegal, like not unlawful things.
Right. And this week, Trump took a step at basically trying to make himself acting as if he's king. So basically, he was deporting a bunch of folks who are Venezuelan. For some reason, deporting them to El Salvador. How that makes sense, I don't know. But deporting them, and a judge told him not to stop the deportations, stop the planes, because these people have been rounded up.
A judge said
Right.
this.
A
federal
judge.
judge?
Yes.
Right.
Said to stop the deportations because the people have been rounded up without due process. So what that means, like in simple terms, is that due process is like if they think you're undocumented, you
gotta at
get
least check.
Right. You have to check, and you have to give that person a chance to prove that they are documented. Also, whatever it is that
You're accusing them of crimes. You got to at least prove that too.
Right.
But no, they don't.
Right.
The reason why they don't
Right.
is because Israel ain't had to prove a dang on thing. They were accusing all kind of things, and months later we find out they just lied about it and made it up.
Well, one of the reasons why, when it comes to immigration courts, things are different than like how if you or I were accused of a crime as U.S. citizens, we would go to court and we would have due process. Immigration courts have been notoriously bad about deporting people and not really giving them a chance
so
to
there
prove.
Was already
a problem
in there.
In fact, and this is why this story matters. There have been times where the United States has accidentally deported U.S. citizens. Because the immigration courts are so crazy. Yes, sometimes they accidentally deport. So anyways, yes. So a judge told Trump to stop the deportations because these people that had been rounded up, the Venezuelans, were not given due process.
I heard Trump ignored that order.
He did. He ignored the order.
So I feel like it's that meme when you see Diddy and whoever else, they was just staring at each other. Like, I think it's like the situation where the court is looking at Donald, and Donald's looking at the courts, and the courts is looking at Donald, and
Right.
I feel like it's a standoff.
Well, so actually, yeah, it was a standoff. I guess you could say for a certain point, but Trump has continued with the deportations, saying that a judge cannot overrule the power of the presidency. But the problem is that democracy works this way. You have three branches of government that are supposed to have equal powers. So you have the legislative branch, which is, the House and the Senate. It's generally lawmakers. You have the presidency, and then you have the courts. So with the courts saying the way that we are interpreting the law says that you cannot just deport these people, and Trump saying I'll do whatever I want, means that he literally is trying to act as if he's a king and break democracy.
So my thing has always been, I feel like Trump has been like a bully that's been punking everybody, like, and basically saying, what you gonna do about it? 34 felony charges, what you gonna do about it? Insurrection, what you gonna do about it? And now we have these checks and balances in place for a reason.
Right.
And he's now going up against that. And I honestly, people are not going to understand. Some of y'all not going to understand me when I say this. But I am so thankful for these times sometimes. It's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? But I'm really happy that this is happening right now. I know I'm not happy, like enthusiastic happy.
Right.
But I'm always in favor of dismantling the illusion. The illusion of democracy that people are holding on to, the false sense of security. We have to actually make sure that things work, that our government actually works. And so I think what Trump is doing is showing that there's problems. Because if someone does this, I would consider them to be an enemy of the state, of democracy. But we're literally, I feel, left with the question, what are we going to do about it?
Well, it's so dangerous because the way democracy works is that if you democracy only works when everybody agrees to adhere to the rules. Okay. So basically, it only works if everybody agrees that we're going to do democracy. Without democracy, what would we use to make decisions as a society? Like, the only other things you could use would be having a king, or by force, right? Everything will
Right.
devolve to people just fighting in the street. So that's why, even if you are somebody who supports the strictest immigration stuff ever, even if you like everything that Trump is doing with immigration, what you shouldn't like is that if we remove democracy in this country, even though our democracy is not perfect, if we remove democracy in this country, then what will we use to make decisions? Will it just be whoever has the most force in the streets? What will it
Not
be?
only
Will it
that,
be
but
under a king?
you're talking about a party that used to talk about smaller government, less
Right.
government in our home.
And rule of law.
If y'all not paying attention, I saw a guy, young black king, on the social media, posted a video and was just like, I'm not even going to try to convince y'all to have compassion for trans people, but
Right.
let's just put it on the side and say y'all should at least
Mm-hmm.
understand that the government should not be able to tell you who you
Right.
are and what you can do
Right.
with your life and your
Right.
body. Like, regardless, at the end of the day, we're gay, straight, Christian, this, that, and the third. That's who you are.
Right.
And the government should not have a say in dictating what that is. And you should see this as a red flag if they can do it to those people. But instead, for some reason, we believe that we need to control certain people, like animals. And the funny thing is, they use that word. It becomes like a word they use against black and brown people, animals.